Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Cars and Health Bars. I want to welcome you all to our first video podcast. Hopefully, this goes well. If it does, we're going to continue this content for sure. That way, we can get better clips. You guys can kind of see faces to names, all that good stuff. Uh, Top of the show here, I want to extend a thanks to the Drag Driver Pete podcast host for having us on their show. If you weren't on there, go back and check it out. If you want to, they've got a whole 2 hour and 15-minute podcast. But if you want to skip to our part, we come in around 2 hours, and yeah, we're like that back 15 minutes. But man, it was a lot of fun to go on their podcast.
Yeah, that was a cool experience, and it was nice to get out there and collaborate. So
Yeah, he said it so well during the beginning of the show. He's like, if you got an automotive podcast, like we all need to we need to get together and create like a bigger community amongst us podcasters. I'm like, yes, sir, that's the way it needs to be.
yeah, that's the good vibes, and I think that's what car culture is, right? It's a community. So
Yeah.
expanding that is like, why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah, it's really cool too. They're from like a different background than us because of course they're like exact drag and drive. That's all they do. And
Yeah,
us, we're more like street car and like kind of like out in the streets kind of racers. So it's like really cool to have those two backgrounds. Like we're in the same community, but we kind of branch off in our own way. It's just
yeah,
cool. Not everybody's doing the same thing.
yeah. I like that. There's different parts of the community, right? Like your import and domestic, and then your guys who do drag or road course, whatever. It's cool to have the diversity.
Yeah. Uh, Besides that, oh, okay, and one other thing, they were supposed to be on our show. I think we advertised that last episode, and we
Yeah,
had discussed it, but unfortunately, due to their schedule, they've got sick week coming up, so that's like one of the biggest drag and drive events of the year. So they wanted to spend some time with their families before that came up, and I completely respect and understand that.
for sure.
I mean, if you don't know drag and drive, I mean, that's days and days and days away from
Yeah,
your family, home. You're really far away, and it's strenuous. It's very
it's a
strenuous.
cool experience, but also it is yeah, it is kind of strenuous if you're not used to something of that caliber.
Yeah. Uh, Besides that, let's see. Okay. So I want to say our Winter Games tournament got delayed. Obviously, last weekend, I believe it was Friday. My throat felt like I swallowed a bucket of nails. Like it was horrible, horrible, horrible. We'll talk more on that during the gaming segment, but I want to go ahead and get into this cars topic section here. Uh, so I kind of have. I'm not really going to hammer down on anything super super important in the cars topic. Like I said, we kind of planned for them to come on, so this is kind of a thrown together episode. Besides the gaming topic, got some cool stuff on that side of things. But man, I want to talk about some of the connections we made. I mean, we really really we made some connections because of this event.
Yeah, it's really cool that we got to do that.
Uh,
Hopefully, it leads us to bigger and better things.
Yeah, one thing you guys didn't see afterwards, if you watched the whole entire podcast, of course, the Sick Week magazine guy, he was on there in the beginning, and then the Dragon Driver Raj, he was also in the
Yeah,
middle part, and then there was us. Well, there was like an after show thing that we had no idea about, and he was like, "Yeah, if you guys want to hang around the after show," we're like, "Well, we're the last guys on anyways, we might as well."
yeah,
Uh, so yeah, we got to talk to all those guys, and the Sick Week guy, he reached out to our email directly and was like, "Hey guys, we need to get together. We're coming to Bowling Green in May, and we should grab some dinner and collaborate and do some stuff." I'm like, "Yes, sir. Like,
yeah,
absolutely." uh, that's just awesome because, and I could like while we were talking to him about our drag strip, Indy, BTR, all those things, the area. He's like, man, he said this really would be a good place for a sick week. Like, yeah,
yeah,
he's like, dude, we got to get something going down here. I'm like, I 1,000,000% agree because I believe
yeah,
the last event was Midwest Drags, which is not associated with Sick Week. But man,
yeah,
Sick Week is such an event. Tom Bailey, he knows how to put on an event.
for sure. And seeing one local is like that's just the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely kick myself all the time for not attending the one that we missed out on, the Midwest Drags. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to let that happen again. Even if I'm just spectating, it's just we gotta support these events if we want them to stay local.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like go out and go to these events. Bring your kids. Bring your wife.
Yeah, I mean these guys are coming. Tom Bailey, I mean he's based out of Florida. It's just they're having to make a big haul themselves to make more hauls whenever they get here. So they have to justify that with the
Yeah,
viewership. They can't just come do it out of the kindness of their hearts.
yeah. I mean, they do a lot of traveling.
Definitely, and that's a lot of wear and tear, maintenance. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of everything outside of that. Yeah, it was. We made connection with him, and of course the podcast guys. They of course were like, yeah, we'd love to have you on again, and we look forward to being on your show. So that's really cool. Hopefully we could get together in person at one of these drag and drive events. They were really urging us to attend one. Also, of course,
Yeah,
that's the name of their game. Uh, I want to talk about some car events that we are actually planning with SKR. If you remember, we had Isaac on, a podcast or two ago. We are planning to do a couple events with them. We have organized, and it seems like stuff is starting to move in the direction of where I can start teasing it with you guys. It looks like we are definitely secured in on the Corvette Museum, where the cars and coffees are held. Uh, Sounds like we have secured that. As far as I want to do a charity, like car meet, to where we're not just meeting to hang out with each other. We're kind of meeting for a cause, and just laid back, bring a bag of dog food, a box of kitty litter, whatever, and
mm-hmm.
let's just chill out and uh, kind of help the community out. I feel like, especially in Bowling Green, it really feels like us against the cops, and granted, it's not just us starting that. It's the cops also, and I'm sure they have their reasons, and we got ours. And I feel like that's a good way to start building up the car community in our local community outside of cars. The cops might not like us, and we might not ever get their respect back, and we might not be looking for it. But the people in the community are going to be like, those guys are doing great things for us. They raise money for the animal shelter, and they're bringing people into Bowling Green who otherwise wouldn't stop by or come by. They're bringing revenue into the city. And I want to be those guys. I want to start that with SKR, with the podcast, with any community that is any car culture that's in our community. I want to build up something in Bowling Green for people to want to come here and experience that with us.
Yeah. I mean, just the sense of community. We gotta build that up, and if we want to see stuff like this happen again, we got to stick together and try to make it work.
Yeah. I really like to think back to those days whenever you first got your car, and you and Tyler, and there's a meet
Yeah.
every night. That just I really want to get back to those days. I mean, I lived in those days too in Glasgow. I mean, it was Walmart parking lot for us. But I think some of those still happen, but we need to get something going on in the big city of Bowling Green. Like, we got to get back in these big meets
Yeah.
again.
I mean, I remember, man, it was me and Tyler, and it was like every weekend from like June, July to August, like something was going on in Bowling Green somewhere. Like people were getting together.
Yeah. I'm hoping to do that. Like I said, we have two events planned, or two events in the works. The Corvette Museum one, it's sounding like some gears are definitely moving in the right direction. The other location, I'm not going to reveal anything quite yet because we don't have anything set in stone, but it's going to be more like super chill. You don't have to bring anything. It's not going to be a charity. It's just going to be a late night car meet like they used to be. So that's kind of what we're aiming for. Get off work, head down to the spot, and hang out as long as you want to. Looking like shut it
Yeah.
down around 10, 11. So hopefully get them late night vibes like we used to get back in the day.
Yeah. And I think 10, 11 is probably a little late for some people, but it's like the perfect time
Yeah,
because you can all mob out of there.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Oh, I already know. Uh, let's see. That's
It's
the
like
two event.
leaving your house that time, going to going to Rusty's.
Dude, that, and remember whenever we were all rolling out to the Cars and Coffee leaving Waffle House. We were like 11 cars
Yeah,
deep.
dude, we were straight mobbing.
I couldn't even get a video. There's so many of us going down the on ramp. It was like, God, we took
We had
over
the
I
crew.
65. Like, it's like a whole like NASCAR
Dude, we
race
used to
going on
do
I
that like all
65.
the time. It used to be like that.
That's just like the best thing ever. Whoever wants to run, go ahead and run.
Yeah,
Get to watch
pretty much.
firsthand. Get to watch firsthand. It's just like such a vibe.
Man, if you ever could have rode around with me and Tyler and, even Ashton,
Yeah.
it was always Ashton running someone. And then, like, I remember this one time I was leaving Cars and Coffee at the Speedway, Nashville Speedway.
Yeah.
I don't think my car was cammed at the time. I think it was still just headers.
Yeah.
And 13 to 14 Mustang came up right next to me. I reckon all he had was an exhaust too, because we probably did like a 15, 20 roll.
Uh-huh.
And I spun, but I was like a bumper behind him. And I was about to gap that ass, and then I just see a cop coming the other way.
Yeah.
So, dude, me and this dude both just stopped. Like, I was like, if you ever left there, if you leave the speedway and you're turning right towards the interstate, it's like a straight section for like a quarter mile or for a half mile.
Yeah.
And, as soon as you get there, you can just hit the interstate. So I just hit that bitch and went.
It was gone.
I was like, we ain't trying. It's just fun memories of stuff like that.
You can really get away there on that straight stretch on I-65.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you get lucky and get greens, you're gone. Like, they ain't catching you.
Yeah.
Other than that, those are our two events that we have in the works now. I'm purposely planning these early in the year. That way, if all goes good, we can plan them for later in the year also. Uh, Other than that, as far as events go this year, I'll probably make a list to go over next podcast where you can catch us at. But of course, LS Fest, the normal events that we attend every year will be there. And we're going to try to catch as many cars and coffees as we can. That's part of our format is doing those bracket lists. We do have a guest coming on next episode. The other half of SKR, you heard us talk to Isaac. Well, the other half of the brainchild, David, will be coming on next podcast. Seems like he's a little nervous, but we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him out of that. He'll realize he's just talking to two of his homies.
He's just talking to the boys, man. Ain't nothing to be nervous about.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why he'd be nervous.
He's such a dreamer type person, like. He always likes to share his dreams with you, and
hey, that's what I want.
Like, ain't nothing to be nervous about. That's how he is. It'd be perfect.
Dude, the people that talk and take, that takes the load off us.
Yeah.
It's a lot to just sit here and talk for an hour straight. I'm glad we got away from trying to stretch it out to that 60-minute mark because it just really felt like a chore to drag on a conversation.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's just nice to let the
I think just keeping it
flow.
natural is the best option.
Yeah, that's what I tell people like David and Isaac, people that haven't been on the podcast before. They're like, okay, shoot me a list of the topics we're going to talk about. I'm like, I can tell you what I have in mind, but to be honest, I really like to just let it flow because
just be natural. And
I feel like it's
kind of more genuine, right?
Exactly. It's just like let the conversation flow, let everything just happen naturally. I was kind of shocked at how well it went last night with the drag driver Pete guys because man, 4 people in one session trying to talk and not talk over each other and try to find windows when to speak, when not to speak. I think we did that super well.
Yeah, I would agree. And kind of looking back at like you'd go to a restaurant and see, or just you're at home watching like NFL and you're seeing these groups of people talk, it kind of makes you realize how hard it can be sometimes not to talk over each other or, have a good conversation.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to what you said, just letting the conversation flow, I found as an interviewer, it just makes for way more entertaining of a show. It makes it feel less robotic, and I know it's called an interview, but it really feels like one if you have your questions all pre talked out, because then it's just like, here's this question, here's this question, here's this question. There's
Yeah.
no in between. I don't like that. It's
I
unnatural.
think it's definitely good to have talking points and certain subjects, but not to press it too hard.
Right, right, right. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I hope David goes into his build, what he hopes to be building. So that'll be a fun episode. There's one other episode that I've really been trying to get ironed out. It's a humongous guest. It is. Uh, I guess I could kind of tease it a little bit. It's a spokesperson. I wouldn't really say spokesperson, but it's representative from a very large automotive company, and I'm really hoping we can align our schedules. If it's not on a day we typically record, regardless, we really got to
Yeah.
talk to this person. It's going to be epic. I think it's going to do a lot for the podcast.
Yeah, I think it'd just be great to connect to him and, you know, see what he's got. I'm excited.
I am
It's
too.
a big mystery.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I haven't told you even yet. I got it on
I think I know, but I ain't saying nothing.
lockdown. Okay. Uh, but yeah, that's kind of all I've got for the cars topic. Like I said, I don't want to stretch this out any more than I have to. That's kind of all I had planned out to talk about today. Uh,
I can
switch.
mention just one thing. I don't know if it matters.
No, go for it.
Um, Got to order rods, or not rods, rod bearings, and short block should be together. So
Really,
I'm probably gonna do that this weekend, and
man, that's
we'll
exciting.
be getting that. Hopefully, I'll probably do like a little video of it.
What are the are you speculating you'll have your car done for our upcoming events, or is it just something you're not going to push, you're not going to put a timeline on?
There isn't a timeline. I mean, kind of mentioning David again. His wedding. I'm really trying to have it done for that. I had plans for it in the wedding, so
Yeah.
if not, the motorcycle works. I've never done a burnout or nothing on one, but I'm gonna learn, I guess, if I gotta.
Yeah,
So we'll figure something out.
definitely. Yeah, I'm hoping that happens, man. It just I know you guys. I haven't said personally what I'm doing to my car on our show, but I guess if you want to, I definitely disclose that on their show. Uh, but I'm really hoping that me and you both have our cars done to have some fun with this summer. If not,
Yeah, we
hopefully the
will. I'm sure.
spring. Hopefully
Uh,
spring. But you know, if that don't
you're probably
happen,
gonna be putting the hurting on me till I'm LSA. So you could say
yeah,
that, anyways. I mean,
I'm gonna be putting the hurting on my own setup.
when you think about it, like the 416. Yeah, it's 11 and a half, 11.7 to 1, depending on a few things I still haven't determined yet.
Yeah,
And, you'd think, oh, that high compression on an E, a good cam,
yeah,
aftermarket heads. It's probably not going to be more than like 550 at max, I think, to the wheel. It's still not like it's a crazy setup in a.
yeah. But
The
I
real
mean,
kicker is boost. I think it would do great with nitrous too, actually. I mean, I did kind of get the rings generously, you could say. And
no blow by.
nah, no blow by. Rings will seat, but
Good.
uh, yeah, it would. Maybe I want to take a cheaper option in the meantime or something. I
Hey,
could
well,
just
I
throw
mean,
nitrous on it because that's a really good setup for nitrous, honestly.
a lot of people are scared of nitrous, but with the right tune and not being an idiot, you can really
Yeah,
make nitrous. Nitrous is really,
you
I
just
mean,
gotta add fuel, man, because that's an oxidizer. I mean, it's straight oxygen, pretty much. So you
yeah,
gotta have that fuel. It's really
I
not a big deal if you got a good tuner, and I think any tuner with a good knowledge of fundamentals on how engines work and how to read certain data like AFR and just sensor data like through airflow scaling or
yeah,
volumetric efficiency. I mean, there's as long as you got basic understanding of that, which I don't even have, but it's not hard to get. It's out there. The information's out there, and a good tuner should be able to work with that, no problem. And if your tuner does have a problem with that, I'd probably find a new tuner.
definitely. Yeah, there was a. I'm still getting caught. I think I am caught up on my Cletus McFarland stuff, but The car that won his Christmas tree race that he does every single year was a Kentucky car, and I believe it was a 600. It was a six something cubic inch big block, and it has been on spray all year long. Like if that goes to show you, and I mean it gets drag raced. It's not like just coming out of the trailer every now and again. I mean this dude races, and that just goes to show you nitrous, if used correctly, it's not gonna blow your engine up.
You remember that C5 that before I worked at MCR that Matt tuned that the dude who he tuned it for was like local to here, Nashville somewhere. Maybe
I
not.
do
Maybe
not.
he was more local. I can't remember exactly, but he was in our area to say the least, like within an hour. And
Okay.
Cletus ended up buying that vet off of him. I can't remember. It was
Oh
one of the drift ones, right?
yeah, Donnie. Yeah, his drift car.
Yeah. It's just funny to think of like how crazy it is. These like things. Like it's funny that he would come all this way and buy it, and like I would know about it
I mean,
through
that's
that.
the Tyler knows about the F-150 he bought. I mean, it was
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. Bowling Green, we got some good builders here in Bowling Green,
Yeah,
I
I mean like
guess.
Holly's here, and granted, most people aren't liking Holly right now. That's not my business, but
Yeah,
Holly is here, and really close
BTR is
is
not far.
BTR. Yeah, so there's definitely motorsports in the area.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much all I had on that. Let's move on to the gaming topic. We got okay, so yeah, the Winter Games tournament. I this is something I needed to discuss with you a little bit further.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of feeling like this weekend, but the day I didn't know you were working on your car Saturday, so would you want to do it Friday night? If you're waking up
We
early, then
can. Wait.
Saturday night might be the better of the
No,
two.
I'm not working on my car Saturday.
Oh, I thought you said you were, or your rod's just coming in.
I'm ordering the bearings Saturday, so
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
uh, maybe we'll set that up next time we work on another car that's at the shop.
Hey, that works out. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would work out good. We could get a lot of content for both channels.
yeah.
Uh, okay, so Friday or Saturday? Are you thinking like Friday? Just go ahead and get it knocked out tonight.
Probably not Friday.
Okay,
I don't want to
we can.
be my
Yeah.
schedules. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
want.
you'll be fresh off work too.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll shoot for Saturday night then.
yeah, that works fine for me.
Okay.
Or
Yeah,
even
be
like more midday.
we can do that too. Uh, just be looking out. Like I said last time, be subscribed to the Snapchat. All the information will be there where we stream at. I kind of like that stream yard that the other guys used. I think it
Yeah,
distributes to. It's kind of works like our podcasting distributor. It distributes to whatever you have it linked to, whether that be Twitch, YouTube, what have you. So I
yeah.
might kind of experiment with that. Otherwise, it'll probably be on YouTube live. But let's see what else I had pulled up here. I had some questions, but I also wanted to cover a little bit of news. Yeah. So I wanted to cover a little bit of news in the gaming world this time around. Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to talk about the Microsoft Activision deal uh, because I posted it on Snapchat to get some opinions on what you guys said, and some of you had some questions for us, which I appreciate. So, are you familiar with the Microsoft Activision deal? Because it did go through, like fully.
What like Sony and Xbox?
No, Activision got, so it says the 64 or 68.7 billion equi, they basically bought Activision. So
For
Microsoft did fully buy
67
it.
bill?
Yeah, 68.7 billion.
I can't even think of that much cash in like a physical amount. Like that's
Yeah,
that's all like not even physical money. That's just fake money in our
yeah,
economy.
pretty much. That's and that of course is the biggest purchase in gaming history as far as that goes, of course.
Yeah, that's wild. So what's
Uh,
that kind of mean?
so kind of what I found covered is we're kind of speculating on some major titles to drop to Game Pass. And I mean, of
Oh,
course,
okay. So like PlayStation exclusives, I'm guessing, because it's
that's kind of what I got. Definitely hoping to see some old CODs on
I,
Game
I
Pass.
think I saw some of the when this was in the works. I think I saw something about this.
Yeah, and also want to talk about like how this is going to strengthen like the Xbox position, which it was. I don't know. I feel like peak console wars is kind of a thing of the past. I feel like it's not really discussed much, but I feel like this could definitely put Xbox out of edge because a lot of diehards know Call of Duty has been exclusive to PlayStation. Like they always get everything early. They get like the extra early access, and
Ever since the PS4, excuse me, came out.
yeah. So I mean, we're potentially going to see a full swap there, going from PlayStation to Xbox completely. We'll have
And
to wait and see.
you know what? It kind of makes sense from a consumer standpoint and from a business standpoint too, because on the consumer side, you want to play with your buddy, but you can't, right? Like, because he's on PlayStation and you're on
Yeah.
Xbox. Um, so why wouldn't you make it where you can do that? Because you will sell more games if you do, from a business standpoint. More people are apt to buy a game when they can play it with their friend, even if they're on another console.
Yeah, you're right. And people like Merc or Jev, all these Call of Duty YouTubers, like especially the stream guys, they have to buy that console so they can
Yep.
make early content.
Can you
It's
imagine trying to buy a PS4 or 5
yeah,
like when
or
it released?
gotta have an Xbox, a PlayStation, a PC. Gotta have them all. Uh, yeah, I think that's going to really drive some people to the platform, especially people like that are diehard COD players. They got to have it early. But we don't know this for sure. It's just all speculation that this is going to happen. We'll have to wait until the next Call of Duty drops to find out this information, of course.
That's gonna be a ways away too. Um,
Yeah,
but
fall.
kind of not at the same time when you think about it.
I mean, if you really do think about it, this Call of Duty's halfway through its life cycle. Black Ops
Yeah,
6
and that
is.
is crazy to think about.
Yeah, it feels like that game just came out like, a
Um,
month ago.
you know, when I think of a COD's life cycle, I think Black Ops 2 takes the cake. Like, that game was so active after
Yeah.
Ghost Advanced. Like, people didn't want that yet, and they stuck with Black Ops 2. I was one of them.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I didn't hop over. Well,
Not
yeah.
like I didn't play Ghost. I got, prestiged a lot on there, and my dad played it, but
Well, what came
I
after?
played Advanced Warfare too.
I was gonna say because we had Ghosts and Advanced Warfare, so we really had, and then Infinity Wars, or
Yeah, it
not Infinity
was.
Wars, Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, it
So
was literally. I like
three
Ghost. I'm not
CODs.
hating it, and I liked Advanced Warfare, but it was three that just people wanted to
Hmm.
reject,
Yeah,
and even Black Ops 3 was rejected at first, and I think it redeemed itself.
yeah. Like you said, we had three COD games that fell flat, and just that was even more drive to stay on Black Ops 2. It's crazy how much Black Ops 2 had going for it. Not only because it was an amazing game, but just because it had so many people retreating to it.
Also, in that time we had with Infinite Warfare, we did have COD 4 remastered, and that was a banger, I think.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of funny because whether or not it was true or not, they had it as a bundle to buy Infinite Warfare, so it was like, please buy our game and we'll let you have this better game.
Yeah, I don't think I didn't pass that up, bro.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, dude. I never got to play COD 4, so that was my first time playing COD 4, and man, I
The
missed
OG
out.
COD 4, it just hit different, man. It was back in the day.
Yeah,
Like, it was the first of its kind.
mad respect though for them remastering it. That was awesome.
Dude, the campaign on it is like so good.
All gillied up, crawling
Dude,
underneath the truck.
yeah. And then the nuke, like, bruh, Makarov be on some shit.
For real. So let's see. Microsoft has promised regulators that Call of Duty will remain on PlayStation for at least 10 years. Whoa, hold up. So does that mean that Call of Duty, there ain't no way Call of Duty would
For
become a
10
Microsoft
years?
exclusive? Is that what you got from that?
No, I did not.
Microsoft promised regulators that Call of Duty will remain on PlayStation for at least 10 years. I mean, what are you getting from that other than Call of Duty might be Surely that would
That's
be if the
just a
PlayStation
contract for
exclusive.
10 years. Probably they're probably gonna make another one when the time comes.
Yeah. Well,
10 years is a long time
the
for
follow
a
up to that
game.
is the follow up to that is how will this play out after the agreement ends? Could Call of Duty become an Xbox exclusive in the future? So I'm not the only one
It
thinking
could,
that.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, I think 10 years is a long time for a game. Like even if
God,
it's
that's
Call of Duty.
that's 10 more CODs. We're gonna have Black Ops barcode by
Yeah,
then.
dude. Like I think that the series may not even be a thing. Like they'd have to do it something different.
Yeah, that's just weird for them to pick 10 years, and it says for at least 10 years. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they just ballparked something. I don't know. It seems crazy for them to. Man, you know how much money Activision would lose if they became Xbox exclusive. I mean, I get it. You know, isn't it kind of weird? We don't really see very many PlayStation people whenever we matchmake on Xbox.
No, we do
That's
not.
isn't that really strange?
I've always noticed that it's always Xbox.
Yeah, it's always Xbox or PC or
There's like
PC
two
on
PlayStation
Xbox.
and the rest is Xbox.
Yeah, that's
Usually
a
one dude's PC on the enemy team.
that's a really weird thing. I just now picked up on.
I've
Uh,
always noticed that since 2019.
there's some talk about Sony in here with PlayStation being heavily revealed in Call of Duty sales. Yeah, but it's the same thing. I just don't really see many Sony people on Call of Duty anymore. Uh, Here's another thing to take into account. Of course, Nintendo, Microsoft announced the 10-year deal for Call of Duty on Nintendo platforms. Also, I mean,
Hmm.
Black Ops One was on the Nintendo DS.
So was World at War. It was on the Wii.
Man, I
Black
get
Ops
it.
1 was. I played them on there, bro. I had the Wii. I was running that shit.
My thoughts are though, those games were pretty like. I mean, they were old. I don't know if they were pushing the boundaries for graphics, but man, I just can't imagine a Switch running like that crazy optimized of a game, like it being that graphics heavy. And bless you. I've heard of Steam Decks running like Elden Ring, but golly, it sounded like
Mm-hmm.
a chopper landing whenever. It just feels like that would like ruin components of the device, especially like the fans and the cooling system and even the battery. Like I feel like running that big of a game would like just drain your battery for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely not gonna run it as good, and I don't know about the battery as much. I imagine whatever Nintendo plans to put out next is gonna be capable of running COD on like medium settings.
Yeah,
Because the game engine, honestly, it's pretty. We we're not at the limits of it, but it's not brand new.
right. And I
So
also wonder if they're going to allow matchmaking, like them in our matchmaking pool, because of course they're at a huge disadvantage.
yeah, I'd be drop. I already have dropped two nukes. I couldn't imagine what it would be with Nintendo lobbies.
they limited the 30 field of view just because their screen's that big. Oh, that's rough.
Where's he at?
Homies on Nintendo. They're either that or they're gonna have the best aim assist we ever seen in a Call of
Oh,
Duty
I
game.
guarantee that.
Be snapping on to people.
You don't even got to move the stick, bro. It just follows them. You just press shoot.
Another thing too that kind of led to the Activision sellout was, I guess Activision was facing some controversies related to like workplace harassment and a toxic work culture. Uh, and of course, Microsoft has always been committed to their company's image and I guess their working conditions too. Says this article. So I guess that also could be a key contributing factor to Activision going downhill. Is this could revise their image, them being a different workplace.
That's
Microsoft
crazy
taking
because
over.
of their success, with the PS5 and 4.
Right, right. Uh, let's see. I guess we can get into some of these questions here. So all these questions are related to what we just discussed. Uh, let's see. What is the biggest game you're excited for come that could come to Game Pass because of this deal? Uh, I'm gonna
God of
say
War.
really.
Yeah, I would like to get into that.
I would like to see. I don't know. It might be on console. I'm not on console and PC, but it would be nice to see the old CODs, all of them, or at least a few of like I don't know, from like Modern Warfare 2 up get dropped on Game Pass, so I can kind of relive some of that and play some of the
Yeah,
campaigns I missed out on. I would love to see that personally, just all the CODs that they can, because golly, on Steam they're still $50 for some
I
reason.
know it's
Like, why?
insane. Like
Why do you?
that's and that's not Steam's fault because they're just the ones distributing. It's Call of Duty
Right.
is so scummy with that.
Like, it's
Um,
a 20-year-old game. Let us play
what kind of name is soap?
it. Man, I miss Modern Warfare 3 was my first old COD game that I played, and man, that
That
campaign was so
campaign,
good. Like,
I
whenever
can't believe
Soap
it.
died, I was like, brother, like,
Don't even get
gutted.
me started, bro.
Then playing
First
as
they
like,
took my boy Ghost Riley.
that was a gut wrenching. Like,
I
they
hate
didn't care.
General Shepard.
They didn't care. They didn't care to kill off some main characters.
Nah, like they knew how to make a story.
Definitely. Let's see. What do you think? What do you think this deal would make? Do you think it would make Xbox the best valued platform for gamers?
Yeah, I would agree if it goes through because
Sounds like
there's hardly
PlayStation's
crossplay with
losing.
PC
Yeah,
through Xbox, and PC can join Xbox parties. Like, there's a lot of potential, I think, because
PlayStation seems to be falling behind, man.
you know, I guess PlayStation owners are not the nice kind. I don't know.
Uh, did
I
you
don't
hear
know
that?
anyone who has them.
Apparently, the next gen Xbox is going to be compatible with Steam, which is wow, that's insane.
That is awesome. I think that's a good move.
Yeah, like,
Hopefully,
man,
it's more. What's the word I'm looking for? Open software, like you could use a browser or,
yeah, 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 yeah,
in a better way than it is on current consoles.
yeah. If you are on console and you've kind of thought about going PC, man, this might be a way to hold out on that. Just getting
Yeah,
on
I agree.
console, because Steam is like, it makes me happy because these indie games that are just amazing. Like,
Yeah,
Castle Miner Z is an Xbox 360 game. Guess what? You can play it on Steam.
yeah.
Like, it's got all the games, and dude, the sales. Let me just tell you, the sales are insane with
Mm-hmm.
some of these games. Like, golly,
$2.
yeah, like I think Grand Theft Auto 5, you could get it and like some shark card bundle for like $10.
All
It's
right.
like that was a $60 game back in the day, and then like a $30 shark card pack. Yeah, that's super exciting, and the Discord thing's insane. Like, that's so cool. Like,
Yeah.
everybody needs to be able to do that. I mean, Discord's just the way
Mm-hmm.
we talk now.
Yeah, I agree. I remember the Skype days, and it was right around the time PUBG came out that we switched over to Discord in my friend group.
Hmm.
Maybe a little before then. Um, but yeah, when I first got into PC, like 2017, it was still Skype kind of.
Yeah, I remember Skype.
And then I remember playing 2013 and, a little before then maybe. It's just funny to think about how different it was. And, we may be young, but we've been in it for a while.
Yeah, we have been.
I've literally played every Call of Duty game, except Black Ops 4 and the new Modern Warfare 3. I played 1, 2, the big red one, 3. Like, I've been there and done that. I
Yeah,
played the PSP game. Like, I played it all, dude. I've
homie has
played
been
every one
around.
of them. I've played it. You can't tell me I'm not a veteran. I'm like Nate Shot, but I'm young.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, you are naturally great at every game you play, just about.
I don't know about that.
This other question says, with what's one franchise from Activision you'd love to see revived under their Microsoft's leadership?
I mean, it kind of was revived, but Ratchet and Clank was the OG that I always wanted to play, and since it's not been on Xbox or nothing, I can't play it.
I've got a franchise that maybe
Hmm.
some of you didn't know was an Activision game, but Man, if they revived this, I would go all out. If they brought back Guitar Hero, man, I'd go back. I'd buy a new guitar. Like I'd do it all. I loved Guitar Hero, dude. That was so much fun. Even like
I
the
remember
doing.
some other games. Let's see. I don't remember if this was Activision. True Crime, Streets of LA, dude. That game. I just loved playing it. It was so funny. Let's see.
I
Plat-
know Logan
oh,
liked Prototype. You got Prototype, StarCraft. I wasn't really. I never really played
I
much
never got into
StarCraft.
StarCraft.
Yeah, I know a lot. It's got a pretty cult following.
Naruto. I remember playing the Naruto games. They're still coming out though. What else? Medal of Honor is probably my favorite series I'd love to see come back. It was COD, but better back in the day. Call of Duty's first three games, I played them, but they weren't nearly as good as the Medal of Honor games because those games you played more for the campaign. It wasn't about multiplayer. And yeah, there is a group of people dedicated to playing multiplayer right now, but back in the day, gamers were more campaign focused. Think of like the OG Halos and stuff. They had PvP, but everyone thinks of the campaign when they think of them.
Yeah, I mean that's a topic in and of itself, just like the decreasing amount of people that play campaigns. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I still haven't played the newest Call of Duty's campaign, and
I haven't
golly,
either. I'm not really interested, to be honest.
that used to be like the first thing that I would do before jumping on multiplayer is play the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you a chance to get used to the controls, used to the movement, and it's always a great time doing the story on a Call of Duty game. I mean, I've heard it's really good, and I do absolutely plan to play it. It's just I'm struggling to find time, and also, like you said, I'm not. I mean, yeah, I do want to play it, but it's not something that I'm like I'm thinking about all the time. I'm like, gosh, I need to
Yeah.
get on there.
I remember the last one I took serious probably was Infinite Warfare, I think, but
Black Ops
Black Ops 3 was
3,
after, so never
yeah.
mind. Yeah, that one was, it was, people hate on it, but
Oh,
pretty good.
it was really good.
And then you
Like,
had the mode after where it was like zombies.
yeah,
Dude, that was
Nightmare.
good too, yeah. Black Ops 3 really offered a lot for its time, and, we spoke highly of it every time we've talked about it. It's probably my favorite of that generation of COD.
Yeah, the EXO movement.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree too.
it kind of dominated the first two, not counting the original three, like before COD 4.
Yeah,
Um, I think you could kind of end up 2 in its own time, but Black Ops 2 is still that same engine, so I think Black Ops 2 kind of carried. Some people would argue end up 2. So I think Treyarch's kind of carried.
yeah, definitely. Man, I get so mad whenever I see people throwing shade at Black Ops 3. I'm like, you don't even know.
Yeah, Black Ops 4, all right, I'll take it because
Yeah.
just I couldn't get into it.
I remember
And
you hated Cold War religiously. You hated Cold War.
what do you mean?
Dude, oh no, I'm thinking of Vanguard.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
Nah,
thinking of Vanguard.
nah,
Yeah.
I didn't even want to play it.
I just remember there was that one map. It was like a hotel, and you could like
I
drop
remember.
down from the roof. Man, you got
I
so
remember that
mad
map.
every time
I
somebody
remember
jumped on
that
you.
map, dude.
I do too.
Nah, I remember that map. I hate it. That dude, that Call of Duty sucked. Remember the snowy map that you had the two hotels across the street and you get
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
roof? God, I
Hmm.
hated that one too, dude.
And what about the one where it was literally a open, ruined, like old brick building, and it was
I
like
remember.
that was the map.
Be objective right there.
That was the map. Like it's like shipment without obstacles in the way. Like it's just
Hmm.
constant death.
God, that game was probably one of the worst. And somehow, from a numbers perspective, Black Ops 6 is doing worse, at least in the multiplayer regards. And that kind of blows my mind, but there are some valid issues.
Black Ops 6, I really
I've
do
enjoyed
say
it,
I could
though.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
But
I
I enjoyed Cold War a little more, man. The snipers were crispier, and some of the game modes were kind of cooler, too. I actually did like Ground War on Cold War.
Man, that makes me think of anytime I think of ground war, I think of just like that war game mode in World War II.
Hmm.
That
Well,
was
this
kind of
one had
cool.
vehicles. Like, it had tanks and stuff. And I played it. I liked it. Because, I was doing heavy camo grinding when that game came out for like the
Yeah.
first 2 months. And I pretty much got everything diamond except ARs. I had like half of them done, and like all but 2 SMGs and like 1 LMG. So I did all the launchers, which were, if you remember during the launch, dude, they sucked. And
Hmm.
I don't know what they call it, kind of like the China Lake or
Yeah, yeah,
Thumper from MW2.
hmm,
It was like a grenade launcher. Dude,
yeah,
remember the Thumper? How did I think of
yeah.
that? That thing's nah. But
Worked.
anyways, dude, it was so hard. And I remember I got a quad play of the game, like
Oh
cross
my
on the
god.
B objective cross map. So good because that thing had no radius, and you had to kill vehicles with it too.
I remember.
You know.
Okay, yeah, I remember now. Like you pretty much had to rely on vehicles for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And dude, I can remember raging at that a little bit,
Man,
to
those are
say
the
the least.
worst. Like you got to destroy vehicles, so you gotta kind of hope the enemy team is decent enough to call
That's why I
stuff
played
in.
those game modes, because you can't rely on the shitters to call shit in.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
I find the ways around it.
Pretty much just gotta lay down and let them get score streaks.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of sit and spawn, shoot my grenades
That's
into the air, and then go die, and then
that's
repeat.
terrible.
Hey, it worked.
It was a grind back then, dude.
I didn't
Now
care about my KD.
the challenge camos are so easy in Call of Duty now, man. It like
Mm-hmm.
used to be like you had to take all your attachments off and like
Uh,
that was the roughest ever.
dude,
Now it's just like get
you gotta
double
use the
kills.
gun in stock form,
Yeah,
buddy. I'm used to my cam and bolt-ons.
yeah.
I ain't ready to go back to stock.
And now it's like, yeah, get some double kills and just a few of them too, just like 10, and we'll give it to you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
jeez, get out of here. Like, we used to have to grind for some camos.
Mm-hmm. I
Like, I get
remember. I
it.
mean, I
There's
got
like
diamond on BO2, and the shield in particular and
mhm.
crossbow.
Isn't it
God.
kind of weird there's not a shield in this Black Ops? I think there's been one
Mm-hmm.
in almost every
I'm
single
glad.
one.
Thank Jesus, dude. You find me on stakeout finding a shield user, I'm carrying some ticks and sticking you every time. Because there ain't no thermite, so they really made it hard to combat it.
Yeah, they did. Uh,
I remember in 2019, you run the shield, I just run thermite. I ain't dealing with you. You gonna
the
burn.
turtle shill's enchantment was the worst thing ever.
Dude, it would literally block the Harrier or whatever.
Oh my
You
god.
remember?
No,
The
I
kill
don't.
streak would not kill you if you had a shield. It would block the bullets.
That is so
So I would
OP.
run it on my back if I got streaked on.
Fair enough. I mean, you gotta use what you gotta
You
use.
gotta adapt.
Yeah, adapt and overcome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pretty much all we've got for you today. Just a brief little episode to get you caught up. Like I said, look forward to some interviews in the future episodes. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you think about the camera and all that good stuff. Seeing us, if you like, if you don't like it, if you're audio only, you're going to have to hop over and check it out on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. But that being said, guys, we will catch you in the next one.